Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to discuss some important questions and answers that you need to know for your exams. तो इस तरीके के वीडियोस मैं टाइम टू टाइम लेके आने वाली हूँ एंड हम लोग इसके बहुत सारे पार्ट्स करने वाले हैं. बट फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो वी आर गोइंग टू कंप्लीट 30 क्वेश्चंस. सो यू आर गोइंग टू कंप्लीट 30 क्वेश्चंस विद मी विद आंसर्स. इट इज गोइंग टू बी हेल्पफुल इन योर रिविजन. आप इन क्वेश्चंस को कैसे आंसर करना है वो इससे अच्छी तरीके से सीख सकते हो. एंड इन एडिशन टू ऑल ऑफ दिस, ये क्वेश्चंस ऐसे हैं जो बहुत बार देखे गए हैं, इनका पैटर्न नोट किया गया है कि ये आते हैं इंटरनल्स में, प्री बोर्ड्स में, बोर्ड्स में. सो दैट इज वाई मैं कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस आपके लिए लेके आई हूँ. और ये क्वेश्चंस यूजुअली 5 मार्कर्स होने वाले हैं, क्योंकि 2 मार्कर्स के लिए मैंने अलग से वीडियो प्लान किया हुआ है. अच्छा, 5 मार्कर्स का एक ब्यूटी है कि उनमें आपको लिखना ज्यादा पड़ता है एंड यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू राइट वन. The story Rat Trap focuses on human loneliness and the need to bond with others. Explain. Again, these type of questions are actually very painful to write, because you need to think, a lot. You need to put in all the wisdom that you've gotten for this from the story. So it actually takes a lot of your mind. It actually takes a lot of your thoughts, and that's why we don't want to write anything which is in the excessive manner, or we don't want to exaggerate here, because we are going to only waste our time. We've already wasted our time thinking about what we need to write, and now writing in access to what was asked is going to further waste your time. So focus on that. When you come across such type of question, take your time while planning how you're going to write your answer. Take your time thinking how you're going to write your answer, or what points you need to mention. But don't overdo or don't exaggerate things, because if it's not asked, because if you're going to anyway write answer in excess, you're going to waste your and examiner's time, and it's pointless because you're not going to get marks for those points. So the main focus of the story, The Rat Trap, is he's on a human loneliness. All the characters, whether it is the peddler, the crofter, the iron master, or his daughter, suffer from loneliness. The peddler is a lonely man who was always been shunned by society's cold and unkind words. When he knocks the door of the old crofter's cottage, he does not expect hospitality, but the crofter welcomes his, as he is too happy to get someone to talk to after being alone for so long. By serving the peddler, the crofter is in fact serving himself. He serves the peddler with supper, gives him tobacco, plays cards with him. He is a very good host, because obviously he was also lonely. And in fact, every character that we are going to talk about in the chapter, or we must have talked about in the chapter, are actually showing loneliness. And because of that only the chapter was framed in this manner. अगर क्रॉफ्टर अकेला नहीं होता तो वो घुसाता ही नहीं रैट रैप पेडलर को अंदर. सेम गोज फॉर एडला एंड द आयरन मास्टर. अगर वो लोग अकेले नहीं होते और उन्हें क्रिसमस पे किसी का इंतजार नहीं होता, वो किसी गेस्ट को लेके नहीं आने वाले होते, तो वो क्यों घुसाते पेडलर को. एंड सेम गोज फॉर द पेडलर. अगर पेडलर अकेला नहीं होता तो वो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वहां जाता ही क्यों. So the Iron Master and his daughter too miss company, and this makes them all the more lonely on the occasion of Christmas. So the Iron Master, who mistakes the peddler for his old regimental comrade, invites him to his manor house for Christmas. The Iron Master's daughter Edla extends this invitation again and tells the peddler he can leave any time after Christmas. Thus, the need to bond is the main focus of the story, the Rat Trap, because they know somewhere that it is very important to all the characters in the story to be with someone, and that is the reason they have actually found each other, and that's how the story is framed. So the main focus is on bonding, because all of them were actually lonely. Now, as you guys know, that the entire paper is going to come in two parts. The first part is going to be MCQs and the other part is going to be subjective. And in subjective type of question, and even in the MCQ type of question, there are going to be some extract based questions which will be asked. In MCQ it could be given in the form of objectives. They could ask you the questions on objectives, like giving you the options. But in subjective type of questions, you will be given some extract and you need to answer the question given below the extract, reading that extract. So for that only, that purpose only, I have come up with some extract based questions, not only from poem but also from the chapter, so that you understand how what kind of questions are going to be there in your exams. So the first extract that we are going to talk about today is the extract, the famous extract from My Mother at 66. You'll find this extract in your half yearlies and in your pre boards, and could be in your boards as well. So, driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. What was the poet driving to? Why was her mother's face looking like that of a corpse? What did the poet notice about her mother? Answers to these questions. First, the poet was driving to the airport from where she would head to her house in Cochin. Her mother's face was looking like that of a corpse because it was pale, lifeless, and colorless. The poet notices that her mother was really old, and this made her reflect painfully on latter's imminent death. Now, these type of questions should be asked, should be answered in respect to the extract. You need not mention anything that is, that is in addition to the extract. Please mention the points that are there or are related to the extract, and please answer these type of question as to the point as you can. बिकॉज अगर आप इसको एग्जैजरेट करते हो, आप एक नंबर के क्वेश्चन को 3 नंबर में लिख के आते हो, ए यू विल बी वेस्टिंग योर टाइम, बी यू विल बी वेस्टिंग योर एग्जामिनर्स टाइम, सी यू विल नॉट गेट मार्क्स फॉर एक्स्ट्रा वर्ड्स. So what's the point? And so please basically write every answer that you're going to write in one like one words or one liners or as expected. So write your answers to the point, as to the point as possible. Next question is my childhood fear, but all I said was, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile, smile, and smile. Now, this one also is a very popular extract. You'll find it everywhere, I'm telling you. My Mother at 66 is one thing, one kind of poem which is going to be there in your paper, no matter what, no matter. So, the question is, who is I? What was my childhood's fear? Why did the narrator smile repeatedly? I, which is T here, please do make it I refers to the poet who is Kamla Das. Childhood fear kiska tha? The poet's childhood fear is that of death and decay. She's concerned about her mother's frail health and old age. As a child, she used to always fear that she's going to lose her mother one day, and that's actually here. So she's confronting that fear all over again. She's living that fear all over again, which is very painful. Why did the narrator smile repeatedly? The poet smiled repeatedly to reassure herself that she will meet her mother soon. Her words and smiles are a deliberate attempt to hide her real fears and feelings, because she knew that if she's going to show that on her face, it's going to be very much visible to her mother. And once that is visible to her mother, she is going to also feel low. She's going to feel underconfident. She's going to feel that, oh my god, what's happening to me? Why is my daughter so sad? Why is my daughter so worried about me? That kind of thing happens. So that's why she was like, I don't want to show this kind of emotion to my parents. Rather, what I'll do is, I will to my mother, rather I will just cover those emotions so that at least she's happy till she is here. So that was the entire purpose of poet being so smiley at the end. So yeah, that's there. Okay, Now, this is again from my mother at 66, which is, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. What thought did the poet drive away from her mind? What did she see when she looked out of the car? How do you know that the joyful scene didn't help her drive away the painful thoughts from her mind? आंसर, दिस कुड प्रॉबली बी देयर लास्ट मीटिंग. नाउ ये जो है कि ये कौन सा ऐसा थॉट था जिसको वो अपने माइंड से हटाना चाहती थी. द थॉट वाज दैट दिस कुड बी प्रॉबली देयर लास्ट मीटिंग. हर मदर, next time when she visits, there is a very strong possibility that she won't be able to see her mother again. And that pain and that fear is so strong that she never want that fear to occupy her mind, and that's why she's looking out of window, so that she actually wants to avoid feeling that way. She wants to feel other way. She doesn't want to feel that pain. She doesn't want to overthink. She doesn't want to feel sad about it. And that's why she thought, okay, let's look outside, let's distract ourselves. So when she looked out of the car, she saw young trees sprinting past her in the car, young children spilling out of their homes to play. She looked outside at a world which was full of life, activity, youth, vigor. सो उन्होंने जैसे ही बाहर देखा, उन्हें दिख रहा है बच्चे निकल रहे हैं, ट्रीज पीछे भाग रहे हैं. एवरीथिंग वाज समवेयर रिलेटेड टू यूथ, life, happiness, activity, and that was very much amazing to her, because she could actually distract herself from it. So the joyful scene didn't help to drive away her painful thought, because when she looked at her mother's pale and withered face, the fear of separation rose in her again. Um, ये जो पूरा चीज था, she was looking outside and she was very happy now, looking at the children or the trees or anything. This actually, didn't last that longer. When she actually turned back after she passed the security check, and when she looked back at her mother, and when she saw her face again as vain as a late winter's moon, she was all over again, confronted by those emotions of losing her, the fear of losing her. And actually, so every effort that she made by looking outside to distract herself all went into vain, because it was not possible. It's not possible for you to go away from a pain like losing your parents, because I don't feel there is a bigger pain than that. I really think that every person has this pain in their heart, and this is the biggest fear or the pain that a person could go through, and looking just outside the window won't help it. So that happened with Kamla Das as well, and she couldn't help it. Read the extract given below and answer the questions that follow. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. Who are these children? What is their slag heap? Why are their bones peeping through their skins? What does with mended glass mean? Now, these are the poor, impoverished children who are studying in an elementary school in slum. Their slag heap refers to the dirt and garbage on which their childhood get wasted. Remember to write to the point. These children are undernourished and impoverished and look almost like skeleton with their bones peeping out their skins. The phrase with mended glass gives us glimpse of the life of poverty that they are living in, because these guys are these people or these children can't afford to have amazing glasses that you and I can afford. They have worn the glasses which are actually discarded by the rich. So these are mended glasses that they are wearing, which actually gives you a sneak peek into what their life is as children in slum. So that's going to be there. To whom does the poet in school and elementary school in slum make an appeal? What is his appeal? Answer. Now, from poem, obviously, the questions apart from the extract base can also come. So, this question particularly asks, as in पोएट जब ये चीज़ बताते हैं कि आपको ध्यान रखना चाहिए बच्चों का, आपको इनकी लाइफ के बारे में सोचना चाहिए, तो वो किससे अपील करते हैं? रिमेंबर द लास्ट और द सेकंड लास्ट स्टैंजा दैट वी स्टडीड इन व्हिच वी हैड unless the governor, the inspector and the visitor, that kind of line, exactly that we have to make, we have to include in our answer here. So, in the poet, the poet in an elementary school classroom in a slum makes a frantic appeal to the educator and affluent section of society who should try to improve the condition of children of the slum through the medium of education. He feels the people in general are the government, and the governments in particular have no feeling of these unfortunate children. So he's making appeal to everyone, be it any kind of visitor, be it any kind of inspector or the government, people who belong from the affluent classes, people who belong from the educated groups. He is actually pleading them to actually come here, look at their conditions and do something about it. The next question, the next extract we have: if we were not so single minded about keeping our lives moving, for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. This is from Keeping Quiet. So, whom does we refer to in the above lines? Why does the poet want us to do nothing for once? And what is the sadness that the poet refers to in the poem? Now, we is mankind. Obviously, poet is speaking to us and he's referring everything to the mankind. And in second, the question we are asked, the poet wants us to do nothing. But ये nothing है क्या? ये nothing है to actually stop doing the activities which are destructive for other people. Stop doing activities which can cause destruction to other people. So poet wants us to do nothing for once, because during this time of inactivity, man will realize the strength of humanity and become aware of universal brotherhood, wherein he will be able to give mankind a healing touch. The poet wants that for once we should not single mindedly focus on keeping ourselves moving, or do some introspection and spend our time in silence doing nothing. Now, this way we can understand ourselves better and escape from the calls of death. Now, this is what poet feels, and we have studied this entirely in the poem. So, the sadness that the poet refers to in the poem is the sadness of isolation that has made modern man its victim. This sadness is the selfishness of the modern man, due to which he has put his own life and the life of his fellow men in danger. So, ये पूरा sadness की बात, मतलब ये sadness वो acts है जिसकी वजह से हम लोग इस तरीके से काम करते हैं, that we put our life as well as our fellow humans life into danger. Do you think the poet Pablo Neruda advocates total inactivity and death? Why or why not? No, the poet Pablo Neruda does not advocate total inactivity or death. I told you, he actually asks you as to stop doing the activity which destructs somebody. Stop doing something that's going to be destruction for somebody, or to harm someone, to harm yourself. He's asking you to stop doing only that kind of activity. He's not going to ask you to stop doing everything completely. He actually mentions this in the poem, and he says, I have no trucks with death. He says, मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है death से. In fact, I want you to stop doing the activity which actually invites dangers and death in your life. I want to do something. I want you to do something that is productive, something that is good for human life. So he wants to give mankind an opportunity of quiet introspection, to know and realize how he has been harming himself and others. He makes it clear that stillness should not be confused with inactivity. Stillness means halting of harmful human activities. He also wants mankind to understand that this life is about sprouting out of seemingly dead surroundings, and he gives example of earth here. He says when everything seems dead from the outside, and if you get a closer look of it, you'll see that everything is actually living. So the idea is not to show that we are living, the idea is to live. And that's what is propagated by Pablo Neruda in throughout the poem. So that's the entire idea of the poet here. Now read the extract given below and answer the question that follows. So we have another question. This is from again another poem, which is, therefore on every morrow are we reading the flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of, which is inspired, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dread, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, now made for our searching. Now इसमें पहला question है, what are the flowery bands that bind us to the earth? What message do the above line convey? So the flowery band that we are going to talk about here is the band that binds us to the earth. It removes all the suffering and sorrows that covers our mind and spirit. There is disappointment and dejection all around, but the presence of some object of beauty removes this sadness from our hearts. So a thing of beauty is about appreciation. This poem is about gratitude. This poem is about nature. This poem is about beauties of life. And when you actually come across all these aspects in your life, you actually forget everything that is darkening your ways. You forget things which are lacking wisdom. So the second question is answered here, like there are many things that bring us troubles and sufferings. The message conveyed in this line is that the natural beauty of object around us takes away the suffering from our sorrowful hearts. Some beautiful shape or any object of beauty removes the pall of gloom from our mind and spirit. So in entire poem, the poet is trying to express this thing. The poet is trying to propagate the importance, the significance of beauty. He is emphasizing on how you can focus on beautiful objects, and you can remove your you can remove gloomy days, or you can remove sadness from your life. So that's how the entire poem is made. How does a thing of beauty provide shelter and comfort? The question is, ये thing of beauty जिसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं, ये thing of beauty आपको shelter और comfort कैसे provide करता है? Now a thing of beauty will always provide a pleasant shelter, a place under the shade of a tree, where we will always remain peaceful and comfortable. Whenever we are under nature's shelter, we will have a quiet and peaceful sleep, which will give us serenity and comfort.